The Ohio Attorney General's office released its findings today on the state's facial recognition system.
It comes after a report that federal agencies might have been using systems in other states for surveillance. Attorney General Yost says Ohio's system was not one of them. Our State House newsroom reporter Jason Aubrey has more.
This report says in 2018 there were around 3,800 uses of Ohio's facial recognition system, and federal agencies made requests only 173 times. Back in July, a Washington Post article claimed the FBI and ICE were using some state driver's license databases as a, quote, unprecedented surveillance infrastructure. Attorney General Yost asked his staff to find out if that was happening in Ohio.
The bottom line is there were no dragnets. There was no mass surveillance. The things that were implied in that Washington Post story are not true as they apply to Ohio.
The facial recognition system is part of a larger database law enforcement in the state has access to.
Ohio's system is done carefully, lawfully, and with strict controls and regulations.
So strict that the federal government didn't even have direct access to the database. Instead, it had to request searches through the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations. And as of today, that will soon be the case for everyone.
We're taking the management back inside so that any law enforcement officer has a legitimate criminal justice purpose for facial recognition will be able to process that request through BCI staff.
Yost says he wants a training program developed before he allows Ohio law enforcement to reapply for access to the facial recognition system. He wants to make sure that police are not using it as the only step in determining a suspect. Something else this report shows is the number of times ICE requested facial recognition searches in 2019. They're up 58% in the first half of this year over all of last year. Local for you at the State House, Jason Aubrey, NBC4.
Air travel can be extra troublesome for those with sensory problems like autism. But one airport is trying to help. Hear about a first-of-its-kind idea not far from Columbus and what it means for travelers out of John Glenn International.